This week's episode of Life Planning 101 originally aired in 2022. Please enjoy. Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services in Eastland, Texas. Tune in every week as we share important information to help you and your family live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, legacy and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
So happy to have everyone on the show. And I don't know if you did any vacationing with your kids or grandkids over the holiday season, but whether or not you did, I bet you know this line. Are we there yet? Yeah, everybody has it. It's in every family car across the country on a long vacation, or not even so long vacation. I was reading a good little story from Reader's Digest, and I absolutely love these. They just crack me up. But this woman was talking about her son, 4 years old, on a flight to Mexico over Christmas vacation, and he was staring so intently out the plane window. Of course, looked a little bit impatient, ready to be there, just as any other kid was. And of course, they had just taken off. And then he started looking concerned. And so she asked him, "What are you thinking?" And suddenly his eyes lit up, a big smile came across his face, and he announced loudly, "Mom, I know why we're not getting anywhere. We're stuck in all this snow." That was Carol Wilson, Calgary, Alberta. And of course, he was staring at those beautiful clouds in the sky. So I guess you don't even have to be in a car anymore to say, are we there yet? And I don't know about you. I absolutely love my children. I do. This is full disclosure. Love my children. But towards the end of a long road trip, yeah, we're pretty well ready to get out of the car. I know we were after our 13-hour endeavor. And of course, I spent a good bit of that doing CE. And my husband said we talked for like 5 minutes. And I'm pretty sure other than that, I was just dealing with the kids. So, we've all been there. But have you noticed that it's not just our kids that get that way? What about us? As we inch closer to Christmas time or that family vacation or anything, right? Getting close to retirement, we're always in our minds asking ourselves, are we there yet? Maybe we're getting more impatient. And if we're being honest with ourselves, we probably drive a little faster on that last stretch. If we're, holding off just to go to the restroom till we're just getting there. We've all done it. We've all done it. We've all been in that position, just like our kids, impatient and ready to get where we're going. And of course, we're all settled in and ready for the long drive till the fine hour of the last hour when we get impatient. And we all want to get where we're going yesterday, right? The problem sometimes develops that we become so focused on getting there, and we're going to get to what that actually means here in a second, but we get so focused on getting there that we forget to be a human being in the midst of it. We just become and live in this existence of what's called a human doing instead, right? We're not being, we're doing, and we're doing, and we're doing. And I don't know about you, but if you have a list of to-dos a mile long, like I do, on a daily basis, actually just lives there, right? That list doesn't seem to go away. As soon as you get tagged something off, something else gets backed on. And you know what? If you listen to the show, Life Planning 101, I'm going to bet that I add just a few more to that list each and every single week in the name of what we call the 8 life planning issues. Have you worked on your budget? Do you know what you're going to be spending in retirement, aka practice retirement? How about that estate plan? Have you got that in order? Have you started working on it? Have you started thinking about it? What about savings? Do you have enough savings? Maybe you need a retirement plan and you need to focus on that and figure out what that's going to look like and how you're going to get there before you get in your finest hour there, and then you're rushing to get it done and it doesn't happen, and yada, 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 yada. We all have this list of to-dos a mile long. And when we get in that space of that human doing, yes, we just want to get somewhere. We want to get to that moment that we can just breathe, right? But doesn't it feel like when you do that and then you get there and you breathe, as soon as you take a breath, the list resumes. Why does that happen? Well, on Life Planning 101 today, we're going to be talking about living life on purpose, and we're not going to be talking about a stinking resolution that just adds another thing to your to-do list, and you probably won't accomplish anyway because most resolutions do fail. But we're going to talk about changing some things to make sure you're a human being, not a human doing. Be sure to join us when we come back on Life Planning 101. You're not going to want to miss it. Are we there yet? And no, I'm not talking about that couple sitting at that restaurant and her husband looks over and says, "Do you see that elderly couple sitting at the other end of the counter?" And she says to him, "Yeah, what about them?" And he says, "I was just thinking that's probably what you and I will look like in about 10 years or so." And she looks at him and says, "You do realize that that is a mirror at the end of the counter, don't you?" Yeah, we always have this visualization of ourselves that might not be exactly what it is, right? But we're not talking about that. We're talking about that monster to-do list, that little thing that we called life that you just race through. And I read something very short, but very impactful. It said that life humbles us as we gradually age. And I think that's so true that, I know it is for me that, the older I get, the more that I can look back and say, why did I waste my time on that? And why did I waste my time on that? And I bet if we, put a pencil to it on your to-do list, on everything you've got going on. And I'm not to say that there isn't important things. Yes, there's very important things in life, but I'm going to bet that a lot of it is nonsensical, especially if we put it in priority over something else that really is a priority. Because here's the thing, life is a gift and we have a choice. We can either live it doing and essentially live it by default because we're just constantly doing, or we can live it being, right? Isn't that what it's supposed to be about? We're human beings. We're not human doings. And therefore, if we're being, if we're embracing, if we're stopping to smell the roses, if we're looking at the beautiful sunset that's in front of us, if we're stopping to just give a hug to our favorite person in the world and maybe hug a little tighter, squeeze a little longer, isn't that the things that they call living life on purpose? Aren't those the things that are most important? I know New Year's for a lot of people, I know it is for me, a time to reflect, to stop. And we're here at a certain point in history to endure certain things. And we can either go through them or we can decide to grow through them. And if I'm looking at my children in 20 years or whatever that is, and I'm looking back and saying, what did I show them? Did I show them how to go through something, or did I show them how to grow through something? I bet you can know what my answer is that I'll want to have said, right? And that is the truth. The truth is that it all starts with us. It starts with me. The world won't change until each of us stop. Literally stop. Stop to smell those roses. Stop to focus on what's most important in life to me. What is most important in life to you? Is my focus there? Is your focus there? Or is it on that to-do list? Is it somewhere else? And if we want to see a change in this world, if we want to see things stop hurting, we need to change. We need to slow down and embrace those last few minutes of the trip, right? I mean, when was the last time that we actually embraced it? And every one of us can say, well, I don't share that sentiment. I don't understand why our world has gone crazy, and I don't understand why there's so much hate, and I don't know about you, but I feel like we're living on a different frequency Things are going so fast at certain times around you. And yes, I do blame technology. I do blame these little devices, the one I'm talking into right now, and I'm staring at right now as we're doing this Life Planning 101 show, for the reason that we're going so fast. We can fit more and more and more and more and more and more into our day, right? We can have things at our fingertips, right? We can shop online, right? We do this, right? But the more efficiently we do things, the more purposeful we have to get about doing them. Because I can find myself shopping at the same time having a conversation with my son. Now, is that really purposeful? Am I really doing myself or him any justice multitasking in that manner? And I'd have to say no. In fact, I would get on to him if he were trying to do something on his phone while I was wanting to have a conversation with him, right? But yes, we do this. We do this all day long. I mean, don't you get that little thing on your screen every week and it tells you how much screen time that you've seen? It's down or up this much this week, right? It's depressing. Like, I look at that thing and I'm like, okay, well, yes, I squeak when I walk. So of course I haven't bought a TV for my room. In fact, it's become a kind of a joke that my husband and I just watch, a show on our phone rather than buy a TV. And I do say, oh, I can justify it with that. But then I also know about all those emails that I'm doing on my phone, or I know about all that shopping that I am doing on my phone rather than going into Walmart, which, by the way, I don't want to go back to that because I had to endure a Walmart trip last weekend. That was not fun. So I understand why we do it, but am I being purposeful about it? Am I allocating the time that I should be allocating to that miscellaneously rather than somewhere else? One of the things I want to work on doing is figuring out how to be more efficient with the use of my devices, because I really never have. Yes, we've got Alexa. Why don't I use her more? Why don't I just spontaneously say, oh, Alexa, I need sugar? I'm not even sure that's how she works, but which goes to show I may need a little training at the top of that to-do list. But in reality, if technology is overbearing us and causing us to spend less quality time being that human being and focusing on the things that are most important to us, then really, why are we using it? We're abusing it. No, it's abusing us, and it has to stop, right? So we need to slow down. We need to embrace those last few minutes in the trip. Are we there yet? I know that my kids never saw the mountains as we approached them over the Christmas holidays because they were constantly saying, are we there yet? And I said, oh, look how pretty that. Yeah, but are we there yet? Right? And we all do that. Why do we do that? Why don't we just sit there and embrace and breathe and enjoy what's right in front of us? Enjoy the moment that we're in rather than anticipating for that next moment to come even quicker. I'm not sure. When we come back on Life Planning 101, I want to do one thing. Like I promised you, we're not going to have a list of resolutions. I'm not even going to bombard you, yes, with those 8 life planning issues and whether or not you've practiced retirement or worked on your budget or done the estate planning or, have your savings in order or yada, 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 and let those might be reminders for you to massage your to-do list. No, that's not what we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you a tool. I'm going to give you a challenge. I'm going to give you a new practice, something that could change everything if you let it. You're not going to want to miss it when we come back on Life Planning 101. Welcome back to Life Planning 101. I am going to take you back several years to an episode we did, and we asked a simple question. Well, is anything really ever simple that we ask you on Life Planning 101? Probably not. But we did ask this question. If this were your last day on earth and you're looking back over your life, get that picture in your head. Really get that picture in your head. This is your last day on earth. Maybe you're sitting under a tree. Maybe you're sitting in your favorite spot and you're looking back over your life. What would you not want to regret? What would be an unacceptable regret about your life? Well, I found this really cool website. It's called markandangel.com. And there's these 16 stories of tiny regret that will change the way you live. I recommend reading it because I figured that these will hit someone, but there were a couple of them that really caught my attention. And one of them was this. In the final decade of his life, my grandfather woke up every day at 7 a.m. He picked a fresh wildflower on his morning walk and he took it to my grandmother. And one morning I decided to go with him to see her. As he placed the flower on her gravestone, he looked up at me and he said, "I just wish I had picked her a fresh flower every morning when she was alive. She really would have loved that." What about this one? Earlier today, in the last few hours of my life, my friend told me the only regret that she had was she didn't appreciate every year with the same passion and purpose that she had in the last 2 years after being diagnosed with terminal cancer. She said, "I've accomplished so much recently. If only I would have started sooner." What do you not want to regret? What would be an unacceptable regret? And how often do you actually look at your life from that point of view? I had an exercise, this has been a decade ago, where I actually wrote my obituary. Maybe you've done something similar. And it was very reflective to do that. To actually, to sit there and write about the person that you wanted to be. And I think, every year we call it a new year so that we can get a new start. We can be out with the old and in with the new. And I would challenge you to look at your life today and ask yourself, are you on track? Are you on track with what's most important to you and what you want your obituary to say? And what you don't want to regret? Whew, those are some powerful questions, aren't they? I mean, they really hit home. I mean, if you're driving and sobbing, I recommend you pull to the side of the road. If you're at home, make sure that you're writing those down because I think we have a chance. We got a chance to say, whoa, hold your horses. Let's stop this new norm from getting any more out of control. And let's take back our lives. Be a human being. You can have all the success, all the money, all the organization or completed to-do list you want in the world, and you're still not living life on purpose. It's true. So you can get all those things knocked off of your New Year's resolution checklist. But I want to challenge you with something bigger, better, the best. I want to challenge you with figuring out what it means to live life on purpose. And here's how you're going to do it, okay? Because this is so important. And I think we could all do this. We could commit to this because we're not creating a resolution. We're going to create a habit. We're going to create a new practice that we're going to put into our lives and make it a priority in our lives because it's going to make everything, all the right things, the priorities in life. And here's how you're going to do it. You're going to wake up every single day reminding yourself of one thing. What is most important to you? I don't care how you remind yourself. Maybe you have a list. Maybe you have a wall of pictures. Maybe you have a journal to write down your gratitudes. I love that one, by the way, everything that you're grateful for. Maybe you did it the night before and then you can read it again in the morning. However you do it, it doesn't matter. Just find a way to commit yourself to remind yourself every single day, the moment you wake up, what is most important to you. Get to the heart of the matter. And then I want you to ask yourself one question. This is a new practice. What will I do today to embrace these things?
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services. If you have questions, you can email them to lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. Don't forget to learn how our sister company can assist you with all of your tax and consulting needs. You can find out more at briscoeandassociates.com. Be sure to tune in next week for more Life Planning 101. The opinions expressed herein are those of the firm and are subject to change without notice. The opinions referenced are as of the date of publication and are subject to change due to changes in the market or economic conditions and may not necessarily come to pass. Any opinions, projections, or forward-looking statements expressed herein are solely those of the author, may differ from the views or opinions expressed by other areas of the firm, and are only for general informational purposes as of the date indicated. Securities offered through Calton and Associates Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Smart Money Group LLC. Kennedy Financial Services and Smart Money Group LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by Calton and Associates Incorporated.